If you're over 60, here's a fact that deserves your full attention. Age is the single greatest risk factor for cancer, not genetics, not bad luck. Age. According to the National Cancer Institute, the median age of a cancer diagnosis in the United States is 66 years old, and more than 60% of all new cancers are diagnosed in people over 65. Your cells have been dividing for decades. The machinery that proofreads your DNA gets a little sloppier with every passing year. Tiny mutations accumulate the way dust gathers on a ceiling fan nobody remembers to wipe down. Now here's the part most people miss. What you eat either speeds that process up or slows it down. Food is not neutral. Every meal is a chemical event. Certain compounds in certain foods create inflammation, spike insulin, feed abnormal cells the exact fuel they crave, and suppress the immune surveillance that keeps rogue cells in check. You cannot control your age. You cannot rewrite the genes your parents handed you, but you absolutely can control what lands on your fork 3 times a day. So let's walk through 10 of the worst offenders, foods that published, peer-reviewed science has connected to an increased risk of cancer growth. And let's talk plainly about what you can do instead. Number 10. Processed meats. We start with the one the World Health Organization itself classified as a Group 1 carcinogen back in 2015. Group 1. That is the same category as tobacco smoke and asbestos. We are talking about processed meats, hot dogs, bacon, deli ham, salami, pepperoni, sausage links, and those convenient prepackaged lunch meats that make sandwich making so easy. The problem is not simply that these are meat products. The problem is what happens during processing. Sodium nitrite and sodium nitrate are added to preserve color and prevent bacterial growth. When these chemicals hit the acid in your stomach or encounter high cooking temperatures, they convert into compounds called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are potent mutagens. They damage DNA directly. A 2021 meta-analysis in the journal Nutrients, reviewing over 800 individual studies, found that every 50-gram daily serving of processed meat, roughly 2 slices of deli turkey or a single hot dog, raised colorectal cancer risk by approximately 18%. For seniors, colorectal cancer is already the 3rd most commonly diagnosed cancer. Adding processed meat to your daily routine is, to put it bluntly, handing those precancerous polyps a construction permit. What to do instead? If you enjoy a sandwich at lunch, swap deli meat for freshly roasted chicken breast you slice yourself, or try canned wild salmon mashed with a little mustard and lemon. Your taste buds adjust faster than you think. Number 9. Sugary drinks and fruit juices. This is the drink from the hook. And yes, fruit juice is included. A landmark 2019 study published in the British Medical Journal tracked over 100,000 French adults for an average of 5 years. Researchers discovered that a modest increase in sugary beverage consumption, including 100% fruit juice with no added sugar, was significantly associated with higher rates of overall cancer, and breast cancer in particular. The mechanism is not mysterious. Liquid sugar floods the bloodstream. Insulin spikes. Insulin-like growth factor 1, known as IGF-1, surges alongside it. IGF-1 is essentially a growth signal, and cancer cells are covered in receptors that respond to it. You are ringing the dinner bell for every abnormal cell in your body. Many seniors drink orange juice each morning believing they're getting vitamins, and they are, along with roughly 26 grams of sugar per glass, almost identical to a can of cola. The fiber that would have slowed absorption in a whole orange is gone, stripped out during juicing. A better choice: eat the whole fruit, an actual orange, a handful of blueberries, a sliced apple with almond butter. You get the vitamins, the fiber, and a fraction of the insulin response. Number 8. Heavily charred or grilled meats. There is something about the smell of a backyard grill that feels wholesome and American. But when meat, any meat including chicken and fish, is cooked over an open flame at very high temperatures, 2 classes of chemicals form. The first, heterocyclic amines, or HCAs, develop when amino acids and creatine react under intense heat. The second, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs, form when fat drips onto flames and the resulting smoke coats the meat's surface. Both HCAs and PAHs have been shown in laboratory studies to cause DNA mutations. The National Cancer Institute considers both probable contributors to cancers of the colon, stomach, and pancreas. You don't have to abandon grilling entirely. Marinate your meat beforehand. Research from Kansas State University showed that certain herb-based marinades reduced HCA formation by up to 88%. Cut meat into smaller pieces so it cooks faster, and trim visible char before eating. Small adjustments, significant protection. Number 7. Refined white sugar and high fructose corn syrup. Let me be precise here, because this one gets oversimplified. Cancer cells do not feed on sugar the way a campfire feeds on kindling. That is a myth in its crude form. Every cell in your body uses glucose. The real danger is chronic excess. When your blood sugar is persistently elevated, your pancreas pumps out insulin nonstop. Over time, cells become resistant. Insulin levels climb higher still. And that sustained hyperinsulinemia creates a hormonal environment that research consistently links to increased cancer risk, particularly cancers of the breast, endometrium, colon, and pancreas. A 2020 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, following over 93,000 postmenopausal women, found that those with the highest glycemic load diets had a statistically significant increased risk of developing cancer compared to those with the lowest. High fructose corn syrup deserves special mention. A 2019 study from Baylor College of Medicine demonstrated that even moderate amounts of high fructose corn syrup accelerated the growth of intestinal tumors in mice without obesity or metabolic syndrome being present. The fructose itself appeared to fuel tumor growth directly. Check the labels of your bread, your ketchup, your salad dressing, your canned soup. High fructose corn syrup hides in places you would never expect. Number 6. Ultra-processed foods. This is a big category, and it matters enormously. Ultra-processed foods are products manufactured with industrial ingredients and additives that you would never use in a home kitchen. Emulsifiers, hydrogenated oils, modified starches, artificial sweeteners, colorants, flavor enhancers. Think frozen dinners, packaged snack cakes, instant noodles, many breakfast cereals, flavored yogurts, and fast food meals. A massive 2018 study in the British Medical Journal involving nearly 105,000 participants found that a 10% increase in the proportion of ultra-processed food in the diet was associated with a 12% increase in overall cancer risk and an 11% increase in breast cancer risk specifically. The researchers controlled for fat, sugar, and salt intake, meaning the processing itself, or the additives unique to ultra-processing, appeared to carry independent risk. If you're over 60 or you're caring for an elderly loved one, this information could be life-saving. Take a moment right now, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future videos like this one, and think about sharing this with someone you love. The people in your life who matter most deserve to know what we're discussing today. For practical purposes, a useful rule: if the ingredient list contains more than 5 items, or if it includes words you cannot pronounce, put it back on the shelf. Real food does not need a chemistry degree to decode. Number 5. Alcohol. This one is uncomfortable for many people, and I want to handle it honestly. The American Society of Clinical Oncology issued a statement in 2017 confirming that alcohol consumption is a definite risk factor for several cancers: mouth, throat, esophagus, liver, colon, rectum, and breast. Not heavy drinking alone. Any regular consumption increases risk in a dose-dependent manner, meaning more alcohol equals more risk, with no established safe threshold for cancer prevention. When you drink alcohol, your body converts ethanol into acetaldehyde, a toxic compound that damages DNA and proteins. Acetaldehyde also interferes with folate absorption, a B vitamin critical for accurate DNA replication. In breast tissue specifically, alcohol increases circulating estrogen levels, which promotes the growth of hormone receptor-positive tumors. A single glass of wine with dinner is deeply embedded in our culture. Nobody is asking you to become a hermit. But understand the trade-off clearly, especially after 60, when your DNA repair mechanisms are already slowing. If you currently drink daily, even reducing to a few times per week offers measurable benefit. Number 4. Refined carbohydrates and white flour products. White bread, white pasta, white rice, pastries, bagels, most crackers, these foods have been stripped of their bran and germ during milling, leaving behind essentially pure starch. They convert to glucose in your bloodstream almost as rapidly as table sugar. The glycemic index of a plain white bagel is 72. Pure glucose is 100. That proximity should give anyone pause. The cancer connection mirrors what we discussed with sugar. Chronic blood sugar spikes, insulin surges, and elevated IGF-1, creating a growth-permissive environment inside your tissues. A 2016 meta-analysis in Medicine found that high glycemic index diets were associated with a significant increase in colorectal cancer risk. The swap here is straightforward. Choose whole grains, steel-cut oats, quinoa, brown rice, sprouted grain bread. These retain their fiber, which slows glucose absorption and, as a bonus, feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut that produce short-chain fatty acids known to suppress tumor growth. You're not just removing a negative, you're adding a positive. Number 3. Trans fats and hydrogenated oils. Partially hydrogenated oils were technically banned by the FDA in 2018, but they haven't disappeared. Trace amounts still lurk in certain margarine sticks, microwave popcorn, non-dairy coffee creamers, packaged pie crusts, and some imported snack foods. Manufacturers are permitted to label a product as containing 0 grams trans fat if a single serving contains less than half a gram. Eat 2 or 3 servings, easy to do with crackers or cookies, and you've consumed a meaningful dose without the label ever warning you. Trans fats provoke systemic inflammation. They increase C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, and tumor necrosis factor alpha, all inflammatory markers that create a tissue environment hospitable to tumor initiation and progression. A 2008 study in the American Journal of Epidemiology linked higher trans fat intake to an increased risk of postmenopausal breast cancer, and subsequent research has reinforced the connection with colorectal and prostate cancers. Read every label. Look for the words partially hydrogenated anywhere in the ingredient list, regardless of what the nutrition facts panel says. Replace butter-flavored microwave popcorn with air-popped kernels drizzled in olive oil and a pinch of sea salt. Your arteries and your cells will both thank you. Number 2. Artificial sweeteners. Many seniors switched to diet sodas and sugar-free products years ago to manage weight or diabetes. The intention was good. The science, unfortunately, has grown complicated. A large-scale 2022 cohort study published in PLOS Medicine, drawing on data from over 102,000 French adults, found that higher consumption of artificial sweeteners, particularly aspartame and acesulfame potassium, was associated with a statistically significant increase in overall cancer risk, including breast cancer and obesity-related cancers. Aspartame alone was linked to a higher incidence of breast cancer specifically. The proposed mechanisms include disruption of the gut microbiome, which alters immune function, and potential direct genotoxic effects of aspartame's metabolite, methanol, which converts to formaldehyde in tissues. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classified aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans, Group 2B, in July 2023. If you are using artificial sweeteners to manage blood sugar, consider stevia, a plant-derived sweetener that current evidence has not linked to cancer risk, or simply reduce sweetness in your beverages gradually. Your palate recalibrates within 2 to 3 weeks. Many people who make the switch report that previously enjoyed sodas eventually taste almost unpleasantly sweet. Number 1. Seed oils in excess. This one generates fierce debate, so let's stick to what the research actually says. Seed oils are rich in omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids, particularly linoleic acid. Omega-6 fatty acids are not inherently toxic. They are essential in small amounts. The issue is ratio and volume. The modern American diet delivers omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids at a ratio approaching 20 to 1. Ancestral diets were closer to 2 to 1. That massive imbalance tilts your body's inflammatory signaling decisively toward chronic low-grade inflammation, the kind that creates fertile soil for tumor development. A 2020 review published in Cancers detailed how excess linoleic acid metabolizes into arachidonic acid and subsequently into prostaglandin E2, a potent pro-inflammatory and immunosuppressive molecule found in elevated concentrations within many tumor microenvironments. Soybean oil alone accounts for roughly 60% of all vegetable oil consumed in America, embedded in salad dressings, fried foods, restaurant cooking, mayonnaise, and virtually every packaged product on grocery shelves. Practical swaps: extra virgin olive oil for salads and low-heat cooking, avocado oil for higher heat applications, and real butter or ghee in moderation. Increase omega-3 intake through wild-caught salmon, sardines, mackerel, flax seeds, and walnuts. You are not eliminating a food group. You are rebalancing a ratio that industrial food manufacturing knocked wildly out of alignment. Let's bring this all together, because knowledge without action is just trivia. 10 foods: processed meats loading your gut with nitrosamines, sugary drinks and fruit juices spiking insulin and IGF-1, charred meats generating HCAs and PAHs, refined sugar and high fructose corn syrup bathing your tissues in growth signals. Ultra-processed foods introducing industrial chemicals your body was never designed to handle. Alcohol converting to DNA-damaging acetaldehyde. Refined carbohydrates creating blood sugar roller coasters. Hidden trans fats stoking chronic inflammation. Artificial sweeteners disrupting your microbiome and possibly your cellular DNA. And excess seed oils tilting your inflammatory balance toward a state that tumors exploit. Not one of these requires a medical procedure to address. Not one demands a prescription. Every single change happens in a grocery store, at a kitchen counter, in the quiet daily decisions that nobody else sees, but that your body registers with absolute precision. You have lived 6 decades or more. You have earned the right to understand what the science actually says, plainly, without condescension, and without someone trying to sell you a supplement at the end. This is simply about choosing foods that protect the body that has carried you this far and setting down the ones that work against it. Start with one swap this week, just one. Maybe you replace the morning juice with a whole orange and a glass of water. Maybe you choose the sprouted grain bread instead of the white loaf. Small pivots, repeated daily, compound into transformations that blood work and imaging eventually confirm. You still have time. That sentence is not a platitude. It is a biological fact. Your body is still building new cells, still repairing tissue, still responding to the signals you send through every meal. Send better signals. If this video gave you even one piece of information you didn't have before, subscribe to this channel right now so the next video reaches you automatically. Share this with your spouse, your siblings, your adult children, anyone over 60 whose health you care about, and drop a comment below telling me which of these 10 foods surprised you the most. I read every single comment, and your experience helps shape what we cover next. Take care of yourself. Nobody else can do it for you, but you are more than capable of doing it well.